Okay, welcome to story time. We're going to work on our chapter book in this video. We are on chapter 6 of I Survived the San Francisco Earthquake, and we're learning about a young man named Leo who lost his gold in the San Francisco earthquake, and he's trying to figure out how to get it back. Chapter 6. What gave Leo his idea was a story that every kid in San Francisco knew, a ghost story about a man named Corey Drew. He was a man who had struck it rich during the gold rush and moved to San Francisco. He'd lived in Rankin Hill, which is the fancy part of San Francisco back then. He was all set to build himself a huge mansion and marry a fine lady and start a new life. Then, one night, walking up Rankin Hill, he was robbed and stabbed to death, and his killer was never found. But old-timers said that his ghost still haunted the streets of the neighborhood. Leo wasn't afraid of Corey Drew. Some kids were scared to be on Rankin Hill after dark. There was even a creepy rhyme about it, which every kid in San Francisco knew, as well as their ABCs. On Rankin Hill, way up high, there lived a man who would not die. Corey Drew is watching you, is watching you. Corey Drew, see a crow, and then you're through. Late at night, shine no light, or you might just die of fright. Yuck. Leo knew that Fletch and Wilkie were not afraid of him or any other kids. That's the two mean boys that stole Leo's gold. They weren't afraid of the police, but just maybe they might be afraid of the ghost of Corey Drew. Leo's idea was to make Fletch and Wilkie believe that Corey Drew had come to get them. Leo had a tattered old hat of Papa's. He had a tin of flour which he would rub on his face for a deathly look. He had a candle which he would hold under his chin to give himself a ghostly glow. And he'd talk in a whisper. "Give me the gold," he'd say. With their eyes full of sleep, hopefully Fletch and Wilkie would believe that they really could be looking at a ghost, and they'd just be scared enough to hand over that gold nugget. Leo knew it was a crazy idea for sure, but no crazier than scaring away a hungry grizzly bear with a cut-off snake rattle. It was just past 4:30 a.m. when Leo set out for Rankin Hill. He decided he'd go close to sunrise. He needed darkness for his plan to work, but in case something bad happened with Fletch, Leo wanted there to be some people out on the streets. He'd know right away if Fletch and Wilkie were falling for his trick, and if they didn't, he'd have to make a quick getaway. Did you just see that spider on that screen? But Leo didn't see a soul as he walked through the narrow streets toward Rankin Hill. He heard some curses from the alleys, gamblers probably, a baby's cry from an open window, a milk wagon rattled by. But the streets were deserted, except for the dogs. They seemed to be everywhere Leo looked, darting in and out of doorways, sprinting across the streets, shivering against the buildings. Their howls and cries filled the air. Oh! Oh! He never heard such a sound before. He wondered what was upsetting the dogs. Papa said that Grandpop always listened to the cry of wolves. They always know when there's danger around. Did the dogs know something Leo didn't? Were they trying to tell him he should run home? Oh, don't be stupid, Leo told himself. Maybe the dogs howled like this every night when he was asleep. He was letting the darkness get to him. He reminded himself of something Papa always said. Brave people get spooked all the time, but what made them brave was that they didn't let their fear stop them. Leo thought of the noises Grandpop would have heard in the Rocky Mountains, the screams of the mountain lions and the screeches of owls, gunshots of bandits and murderers. Had Grandpop let those sounds scare him off? Heck no, he kept moving forward. And so did Leo. Rankin Hill wasn't fancy anymore, Most of the big mansions had been turned into boarding houses. Other streets were lined with little wooden houses, all crammed together like teeth in a crooked smile. Leo reached the corner of Essex and Folsom and saw a beaten-up building. The roof was half caved in, the huge chimney loomed against the black sky, and the front window was shattered, and the front door was hanging off its hinges. Was this the place? It had to be, he decided. The other buildings were just regular houses. Leo stood on the steps, knowing he could lose his nerve any second. He took a deep breath, pushed aside the front door, and slipped in. He lit his candle and held it in front of him. He'd always imagined Fletch and Wilkie's hideout would be like a pirate den. He pictured velvet couches and fine rugs stolen from mansions on Nob Hill. But this place was a dump. There were broken chairs and tables piled in one corner and garbage heaped in the other. The air was cold and damp, and it stunk. He saw two shapes sprawled across the floor at the back of the saloon. Leo crept closer. It was Fletch and Wilkie, fast asleep. They didn't even have an old horse blanket to share. They had covered themselves with newspapers. Amazing, Leo thought. This place was worse than his little room at the boarding house. He looked around, hoping that maybe he'd see his gold nugget. There was a dead mouse laying stiffly near Walkie's foot, but no gold. Gathering up every ounce of courage he'd ever had, he put the candle under his chin, closed his eyes, and thought of Grandpop. "Give me my gold," he whispered, and then louder, "Give me my gold." Oh, that's the end of that chapter. Chapter 7. We'll have to see what happens. Do you think Fletch and Wilkie are going to fall for that and give up that gold? I don't know. He looks pretty scary in that, doesn't he? And they're asleep, and he's going to wake them up. We'll find out in the next video of Chapter 7.